Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the Shameless Plug podcast. I'm one of your co hosts, Lick My Sock 117, and this is.
I'm twitch.tv/TMT Coco. Smash that follow. Or, sorry, no, that was the old name. I'm sorry. This is podcast. Go. Hey. Carry on.
Anyway, welcome to episode 3. You've made it so far. We
We
really
didn't get
appreciate you being
canceled.
along for the ride. We haven't been canceled yet,
I'm
and we're up
sure
to
it's coming.
double-digit subscribers. Life is looking good. But if you're new here and you've enjoyed what you heard so far, assuming you've heard the other episodes, don't be afraid to like and subscribe. We need the support. We need to feed our families.
And
Anyway,
ourselves, even.
and ourselves, yes, because us first. I don't.
It's a tough
Yeah,
world out there.
it's dog. Man's got to eat.
Yep,
Man have to eat.
it's true.
Speaking of eating, I live on an island, and so like the selection of brand fast food joints is a lot more scarce than you'd think. And the worst part about moving away from the mainland Canada was the fact that there's no Taco Bell here. Like, if I had to rate like all my fast food restaurant places, Taco Bell has got to be number one, at least top three. Like at a glance, it's got to be number one. Like Coco, like what are your
It,
top three fast food joints?
top 3 fast food. All right. Well, I'm gonna put McDonald's right at the top because that's the go-to. Like if I need a fry, that's the fry I'm thinking of.
Damn.
Number 2, probably Subway, just based on volume, like amount of times that I've gone there. You'll get that assorted with just sub sauce. People look at you funny, like there's something wrong with you, or you go there asking for a foot long meatball and you end up asking for a meat long football. It's happened. I've never gone back. Number 3 though. That's where things get murky because it's like, well, what if I forget something? Right now, I'm leaning towards probably
The king.
KFC.
Nah, the king.
No, like I had so many Bacon Kings this summer in such a short period of time that I almost can't even eat a bacon cheeseburger anymore without just feeling nauseous. Like it was
Damn.
amazing, but I kind of lost self control for a while. And well, those were the dark days. But yeah, probably KFC for the third. So McDonald's, Subway, KFC, I guess is my like
It's
off
not
the
a
top.
bad run up. Like I don't know, but like McDonald's, like it's just too mainstream. I don't know.
It
Kind of
is the
sick of it.
quintessential fast food location though. Like if you think of fast food, well, I guess you could also think of like Tim Hortons for Canadians, but I feel like people don't really class that as fast food, even though it is. That's
Oh,
more
I do.
like a coffee place.
So like if you had to do a Canadian version, Canadian brand only fast food restaurants, it would be what, Tim Hortons,
McDonald's Canada. There's a
Mr.
difference.
Sub, as opposed to Subway.
Oh, God, is Quiznos
That's not even.
Canadian? Does
I
Quiznos
don't.
exist anymore? I haven't
I
seen one
yeah,
in like
I don't know. Is
probably.
Quiznos Canadian? I don't think so.
I don't know, but they used
I
to
don't know.
have like a bunch of fancy stuff when you got it. Like I remember getting like even the napkins had like sayings and drawings on them and stuff. Like it was a fancy
From
place.
Quiznos.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but I haven't seen one in at least 10 years. I
You
think.
know what? I don't think I've ever been to a Quiznos. Now that I think about it.
I don't think it was bad, but it was like when you went in there, it was a ghost town. Like at some point, you start thinking, wait a second, if no one's like buying anything, is that food fresh or has that been here for 3 days?
You
Which,
don't think there's enough of a turnover? Like
yeah,
it's like Subway. You know you're getting fresh bread. Like you know that bread was made in the past 24 hours.
well, you can smell
You know.
that bread
Yeah, I know.
like
That's how
from
they
a
get you.
mile away. It's oh god, it's just
What's the one town near you? But like the Home Depot that's there, and there's the Subway out front, or at least it used to be, and you'd have to smell the Subway going into the Home Depot or Home Hardware, whatever it was.
I think it was a Home
Maybe
Depot.
Canadian
I
town.
don't think it's
Home
still there
Depot.
anymore. There's probably some kind of safety concerns having a food place attached to a place that
Construction,
sells
yeah.
construction materials and like a lot of
Like wood
hazardous
dust.
stuff and actively
I'd still eat
cuts
it.
wood and stuff. Yeah.
But Mary Brown's is Canadian too, right? I'm pretty sure.
God, yeah,
I don't
I
know.
got
I know it's
nothing
an
on
East Coast thing, but
let, let me
well,
check
anyway.
the like family tree of it, see where it starts at here.
But anyway, so they have Mary Brown's here, and I know that's in other places in Canada, maybe the U.S. too. I have no idea. But so they have this thing called Big Mary Mondays, and obviously it takes
Wow,
place
that
on a Monday.
sounds very strange. But go on.
Yeah, it's a Big Mary Monday. And anyway, what it is, it's a chicken sandwich. Like it's a famous chicken sandwich. And I don't like. So you get the sandwich, you go through the drive-through, and if you say anything, then a Big Mary Monday on a Monday, like you're probably gonna get shot. Like I don't know what.
Fair
Anyway,
enough.
so you get the sandwich, and it comes in like a takeout little box, like if you get like a sandwich from McDonald's, like like the classic like opener up kind of folded box, so you get the burger in. Anyway,
Yeah,
so you open up the burger, the chicken sandwich, and you see the sandwich, and on top there's a slice of pickle on top on the outside of the bun. What do you do with the pickle? Do you eat the pickle first? Do you pick it off and put it to the side? Do you put it in the sandwich? Like, what are you supposed to do with that?
I'd take it
It's
back
like a
and be
little
like, look,
lateral slice of pickle.
this thing is broken. Fix it.
Like I remember just like sitting next to my missus in the car, and I was just watching her what she would do with it, like to see if she was a veteran Big Mary Mondayer, Because I was taken back. Like every time I've either had like dealt with pickles and sandwiches, it's either all in one or like they're just in two separate categories.
Yeah, I feel like there's like I would be like a what what is it? Cats just don't know what it to interact with. Is it cucumbers where they just their
Yep,
brain
a
stops
pickle
working?
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah, I that's probably what I'd be like. Like I'd be like, did they completely screw up the burger? Is or the
right.
sandwich? Is the bun upside down? Like,
Is the order just wrong? Is that pickle supposed to be inside the sandwich, or like I don't know? Look it up. Big Mary Monday sandwich. Anyway, she put the pickle on the sandwich like a psychopath.
interesting
But
choice.
I mean,
Was it a
you
dill
pick
or a breaded?
dill.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely a dill. Yeah. Now me, like I just ate the pickle immediately, and then continued on to the sandwich as if like McDonald's had screwed up when they put the stuff in the box, and then they don't actually build the burger; they build the two halves and then close the box, and then sometimes you have a mess inside.
Well,
Yeah,
half
I'm
it.
somewhat of a fast food concierge.
Yeah, like when I go to McDonald's, I half expect to open up my quarter pounder with cheese, and it's a quarter pounder in a box with cheese.
Right, like
Like
it's
the
just
cheese
thrown
is on the
together.
side of the box, and then the burger's in there beside it.
But no, apparently this pickle, like it's just on the top always. That's part of the Big Mary Monday.
Interesting.
I don't know. What would you do? What would you do with the pickle on the sandwich?
Probably just go for it first, because I personally don't think it really goes together super great. So I would just eat it first to get it out of the way, I think.
Right, this is a chicken sandwich. Keep in mind,
Yeah, no,
not a
it.
regular burger.
Yeah. Like chicken sandwich. I mean, honestly, I'll just eat it with nothing on it, like it's a giant chicken nugget, and be fine with it. Or just go with like maybe a bit of mayo, or like something spicy on it. But pickle just
Right.
tang with it. Eh.
No, it's a roller
It
coaster.
never
I
never
tell you.
really worked for me.
Anyway, that's a Big Mary Monday for you.
So if
So
anyone,
like, go ahead.
I've pulled up the fact sheet here. I'm consulting the data sheet.
Oh, typing nice.
And Mary Brown's
Consultation.
Chicken is actually a Canadian restaurant that was made in
Damn.
Newfoundland or Newfoundland.
Damn. Damn. See, that's representing. That's the
And
island. Yeah.
Mary Brown is a real person. She was making that chicken, and Pat Tarrant and Cyril Fleming were like, "Hey, this is pretty good." So
She
they
had a
bought.
bad one night stand with the colonel and took his recipe and screwed it up a little bit and moved to the island.
I mean, there's nothing here denying that. But yeah, these two guys, they had some of that chicken. And they're like, "Hey, that's pretty good. You mind if we just buy it off of you?" Like, and she's like, "Yeah, you want a sandwich?" And they're like, "No, we want it all." And that's how the place was made. And they're only in
Damn.
Canada. So to everyone in the states, I apologize for not touching on any topic that you know anything about. It's, I mean, I personally haven't had it, but I would imagine it's somewhere along the lines of like, uh, what's what's the
It's like a
Louisiana
KFC, a Popeyes.
Popeyes? That's what I was
Popeye,
trying to think. I was
yeah.
thinking Louisiana chicken, but I'm like, that's not the name of the actual place. Can't
No, that
stand.
place is good.
No,
Wait, you can't stand it?
that place
What?
gave me food poisoning 3 consecutive times, and I'm
You
never
went
going
back after
back.
two?
Yeah, well, I thought it couldn't possibly happen a third time, and they
Oh
decided
man.
to just prove me wrong. And that's when I made a pact with myself and my stomach to
A
never,
pact.
never go back to another Popeyes in my life.
Damn. Well,
And
speaking making a pact against your body, you mentioned something happened to you at Costco last
oh,
weekend.
Co-
Yeah, I'm gonna narrow all roads to this because I want to hear this story.
Costco, Costco on its own. Like I was going when I was at Costco. I was like, hey, we could probably talk about just how good of a place Costco is. Like while I was in there, I was thinking that. And then I went through this whole kind of roller coaster, and by the end of it, I thought, you know what? Maybe Costco ain't so great. Because originally, I was thinking like Costco has such a good plan. They got that cheaper gas. They got those good deals. They usually got stuff like just weird stuff that you can't find in most other places. Like all my cardboard Star Wars models, found them at Costco. Never seen them anywhere else. And Costco always keeps the cost low. So I'm like, man, this is a pretty good place. And then I thought about it. I'm like, wait a second. You got to pay to go into Costco. Costco made the original subscription service, and I hate subscription services so much. And then I thought, maybe Costco is the devil. Maybe it ain't so great. And we went through, we got some stuff at Costco, and we paid. We everything was fine. I'm like, you know what? I want some food. Costco's got food inside. They got some good fries. They got good ice creams. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get Sunday. And then I'm looking. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually kind of hungry. And me and my dad decide, you know what? Maybe we'll have the chicken wings that they have here. We haven't had those before. And it's,
Costco chicken wings. What?
yeah, it's
What?
like, what was it? Eight
That
something for
that must be
10.
new.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while, but not a super long time. But it was like 10 wings for $8, which by itself, not bad, less than $1 per wing. And then we're like, well, hang on. You can get a bucket of 30 of these bad boys for, what was it?
Oh no.
Eight, six. It was like $20 maybe for 30 wings. I'm
Right.
like, man, I can't pass up 66-cent wings. That's too good. And we had to do this at like, it's just a little computer. Like, we weren't talking to no one because COVID apparently has made any food restaurant workers just incapable of human interaction. So
Yeah, I know the kiosk you're talking about.
yeah, so I got put in this little computer, which I mean works fine. You can browse whatever's on there, so I kind of like it that way because like, well, what do they really got? And it's not like when you go to
And they make you,
McDonald's.
touch the screen that everybody else has touched instead of just talking to somebody. But yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, it's like you get that little gamble sensation, like, will I die from this? But like, I do like the kiosks because like you go to Costco now, it's a friggin' TV screen that looks like it's someone flipping stations looking for the show that they want. You're trying to look and see what they got, and it just keeps changing. So the kiosk, at least I could see everything.
That's actually relatable. Yeah.
I hate that so much. I miss just the
You're
old
just trying to
thing.
read it and
Yeah,
it
like
just
I
flips.
miss the really old ones that were just like an Excel spreadsheet that were just
Right.
pasted above the person taking your order.
Like a fast food truck, like
Yeah, like just tell me everything. Don't show me like a cutscene of a cup of McCafe coffee with explosions behind it for like
that's
half of the
right.
menu. I don't need that.
Yeah, the drive-throughs are the worst for that. They're showing you the screen, you're trying to figure out what you want, and you're trying to read
Yeah,
half the thing, and then it changes. It's like, oh,
yeah,
ah,
it's like, can I get a medium? Oh, hang on, I
just
gotta
hang on.
wait for this
I need
ad to end.
to drive-through ad.
Like, it's
30-second
horrible.
ad before you can see your order.
And they're just sitting
Oh,
there waiting, like, are you sure? Do you know what you want? It's like, no, hang on, it's coming back around.
It's like you're talking to your Twitch chat and you're wondering why nobody's talking back to you when you ask a question. You know, they're sitting on three 15-second ads. Like, oh
Yeah.
god.
But I mean, at least I'm making money off that. But anyways, yeah, to go
What?
back.
Hey yo.
Hey, man's gotta eat. Back to what we started with. But yeah, back to Costco. So I'm putting it in. Everything works fine, and then I have to pay, and they only take cards because again, no human interaction, and they don't have the fancy machines that take cash. So it's just like the regular card terminal. I take out my debit card, I tap it. I realize debit card tap hasn't worked for like a year, so I'm like, right, I need to use my credit card. Tap it, doesn't work. I'm like, okay, try again. Tap it, like rub my card against my shirt, tap it. Oddly enough, didn't change anything. I'm like, okay, well, what if I try swiping it? Like, just go right back to the early 2000s where you used to actually have to hand someone your credit card just for them to swipe it in the machine and hand it back to you because I guess people weren't capable enough to do that themselves.
Underrated times.
But,
Underrated times.
but yeah, and then try that, and it's like, yeah, insert or tap required. And I immediately think, okay, so why is this here if you can't even use it? Seems kind of pointless. And so I try inserting it. I'm like, okay, yeah, it knows there's a chip. It wants my pin. I put in my pin, and then it says something about not working, and I'm like, okay, very good. I guess my card's messed up, so I put in my debit card pin to try that. Also didn't work. Keep in mind, it's recording all these attempts, and I'm probably like the manager is probably watching a camera looking at me at this point. And I was half expecting to get an email like from my bank being like, "Yeah, we think someone might have stolen your cards." But
No, but you didn't get the flag because they're trying to buy a bucket of 30 wings at Costco. That fits right in line with every other transaction
well, yeah,
that's
no,
been
that's
done on the card.
that's fine. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But yeah, and then eventually my dad's like, "Okay, well, I'll try my card." And he taps it, works fine. But the friggin' receipt kept track of every failed attempt, and I got about a 4.5 foot long receipt with for a bucket of chicken, and I got to keep it out because it has the order number on it.
Right.
So I'm just standing there with like just this massive list, looking like I just bought half the store, or I bought one individual chicken wing over and over to fill a bucket.
Wait, was
And,
that an option? One individual chicken
no,
wing?
yeah, do 10 or 30,
Okay.
but like the poor person like at the window handing stuff out probably saw that list and was like, "Dear God, we're gonna be here for hours." And it was only one bucket of chicken, a sundae, and a couple drinks. But
Right.
yeah, waiting there for that. So that was just a disaster. I don't know what it is with credit cards, but and later on we went to get gas like at the Costco. It's in the same parking lot because they got the cheaper gas, and we're waiting in line. We're waiting in line, and like it's a big line because gas is expensive here. And we finally get up to the cash. Well, no, or not the cash, the pump. But just before that, the person in front of us was like really struggling, and they just weren't. They weren't picking up the nozzle, and we're like, "What is this person doing?" And then eventually they got it working. My dad's like, "Wow, what an idiot! Why is it taking them so long to get started?" And then we pull up, and I'm not paying attention to what he's doing. But after about I don't know, probably 7 minutes of after him leaving the truck to start pumping gas, he comes back in and starts the truck, and I look over and I notice the gas gauge hasn't moved. So he was now that idiot that wasn't pumping gas because that pump didn't accept his card, which was the same card he just used to buy food. So I don't know what it is with Costco, but they cannot process credit cards at all. So that kind of wavered my faith in Costco as well. Because like I went in there, I'm like, yeah, this place is great, and then I realized, hang on,
How many wings deep are you at this point?
At this point, I was probably about 70 because like the whole time. Well, I'll
I
get.
knew it. You didn't
I'll
even
get.
say you were eating the wings, but I
No, no,
knew
I want
you're
to
eating the
double back
wings.
to it. So we're eating wings in the truck, like in just sitting in the parking lot, eating a bucket of wings, and I had my sundae I had to eat as well. I ate it as an appetizer instead of a dessert because I'm gonna be eating that chicken for a while. But yeah, we're sitting in the parking lot, we're eating the wings, and it's like, all right, these are decent. We also got like things of sauce, like a honey barbecue and a hot sauce, but we didn't try them because we didn't want to make a mess in the truck. And we're eating these wings. I'm like, yeah, this isn't bad. And start getting a little burp on. It's like, all right, yeah, just a bunch of men eating some chicken wings. This is all right. And I'm just continuing to eat them like as we're lined up getting gas. We're both just still eating chicken wings in the truck. And it's at that moment I realized I had hit like the American dream, basically, just short of like an American Eagle and five F-15s flying over my head. I'm sitting in line to get gas in a truck, eating chicken wings at a store that I have to pay a subscription for. Well, I don't, but my dad does. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty much the American dream right here. I just need a NASCAR like track to go by me, and that's it.
Couple M4s, you know.
Yeah, like yeah, I need someone with a pistol to just walk by me as well. That would have been really wrapped it up good. But yeah, and then we
That's how you know
went.
you've made it, right? You're just sitting around looking around at all the other people. They're not eating chicken, but you're sitting up in the truck,
Yeah, no, and
wrist deep in
there
chicken.
was a slightly awkward point in time where I was sitting in the truck eating chicken while my dad was failing to use the pump. And I'm just sitting there eating chicken, looking around, and the car in front of us, this girl's just standing there, and she just looks back at me, and we just make direct eye contact while I have 90% of a chicken wing bone in my mouth. And I'm like, well,
Was she cute?
do I try and save face? Or do I just accept that I'm just a chicken wing eating monster sitting in a truck, destroying a bucket full of chicken? And I went with the latter. But yeah. So that was
Yeah, she was
that
cute.
yeah. But
Yeah.
there's no chance anymore. So that's fine.
I mean, that's
Probably
a
like
good
a
cold open,
vegetarian.
you know? Like that's you just, you lick all your fingers, step out of the truck, and offer
Well,
a piece of
I had
chicken.
to take 90% of a chicken bone out of my mouth because it was like I wasn't wasting anything. So
Right. But no, I'm glad you got the priorities in line. There's 17 other pieces of chicken in the bucket, but only one cute girl in front of
yeah, but I paid for the chicken. I'm not gonna let it
you.
get
But you
cold.
didn't. But you didn't.
I
That's the
paid
funny
for it
part.
later. Eventually, I paid
Oh.
with cash, but or like I gave him the cash for it.
Right.
But yeah, I could have like rolled down the window and say like, "Hey, see this chicken? I didn't pay for it because my card got declined." but that probably wouldn't have went well either. And that we did like a couple hours of shopping after that. I had to go to Home Depot, get just about every part for my snow trooper costume you can, because everything's there. Like anything you ever need is pretty much at Home Depot in some way or another. And we leave there. We're on our way home. We're like, oh crap, we still need to get gas because we never actually managed to accomplish that part.
Wait, you left the gas station without getting the
Well,
gas.
yeah, it wouldn't take the card, and you need your Costco card to get gas. so, so we just gave up on that while I'm like just sitting there,
I've
just
never
sharing
given
a
up on
bucket of
gas.
chicken.
That's a new one. I've just never like usually when I'm getting gas, it's getting pretty close.
And no, after like 7 minutes of me sitting in the truck eating chicken, staring at people, we just left because it wasn't happening. And so we stop at this little Shell gas station. Not a very busy one. Like you never see anyone at it, but it was the first one we came across. And we stop, and it's like, okay, I got out, and because they always have garbage cans outside, I threw out like all the chicken bones and stuff that I had been eating. And by this point, there was like a bit of like a steam valve kind of deal happen. Like every once in a while, you get the little bit of overpressure happening. If you know what I mean.
Like
And
where?
well, like down under, you know, just like every
Right.
once in a while, you just gotta lean in your seat a little bit. But and there's all of our female viewers gone. But yeah, so it was getting there, but nothing major. And
So it was in your ass.
yeah, it was getting a little gassy.
Okay.
There's some
No,
pressure,
just yeah.
but yeah, and I get up, I throw out my stuff, I get back in the truck. That's fine. And we were joking about like how the chicken was kind of greasy and like we'd be feeling it later. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like I was just in a coma for 3 months without being able to go to the bathroom, and just woke up, just hit me like a rock. I'm like, oh
A
no.
shovel.
And I look at this place, and it's just a tiny little, like, it's got the little convenience store in it, but it doesn't look like there's much in there at all.
Oh no.
So I get out of the truck. I'm like, hey, Dad, you think they got a bathroom in there? And he's like, yeah, they should. And I was like, I'll be right back. And I
With
ran in.
COVID though, are they gonna let you use it?
Well, I ran in there, and I look over. I see the bathroom. I start walking towards it. I'm like, well, hang on. It's a gas station. Half the time, these things have, like, you have to get a key.
Key with a giant piece of wood attached to it for some reason.
Yeah. So it doesn't get lost. I look over, and it's like this 4 foot tall Middle Eastern woman just looks over at me, thinking I'm going to be a good customer. No, like, comprehension of what's about to happen and what she has to deal with when she closes the place tonight. And I look over, I'm like, hey, do you have a bathroom in here? And
So it kept your resolve
and
pretty good. Like,
and she's like, yep. And just at that moment, I could breathe again, because I knew there was hope. Because it was either that, or like this was still on a main road. I was probably gonna face some kind of, like, indecency charge if there wasn't a bathroom there. So, I ask her. She's like, yeah, but you need a key. So I go up to her. I get the key, and it's a giant piece of plastic on this one, just
right.
like a giant chunk of broken
Because it's
plastic.
2020.
No idea.
Like
Like, yeah,
everything's made of plastic now.
yeah. I don't know where they got the chunk of plastic from. It probably fell off a car that went to get gas or something. But anyways, yeah, I get the key and I go back back to the bathroom. Like, okay, grab the handle, just, give it a little turn to make sure. Yep, okay, I actually need to use this key. I put the key in upside down at first, so obviously it didn't work. I'm like, oh god, all right. Turn it around, goes in, relief. I'm like, yep, okay,
Oh,
we're
I
good.
figured it'd be
We're
like
back.
a USB stick where you put it in the first time it's wrong, second time
Well,
wrong, the original time right.
I I turn it to the left and try and turn the door. Nothing, not working. Well, actually, you could turn it the whole time, but it wasn't, like, doing anything. It wasn't catching on anything.
Right. Yeah.
So I turn it to the left, try it. Nothing changes. Can't open the door. I'm like, okay, well, the left is towards the wall, so that probably just locked it. So I turn it to the right. I'm like, okay, good. Whew. Turn it. Nothing happens. Panic. Instant, instant panic. I'm turning it both ways, turning the knob, trying to figure it out. And eventually I'm like,
losing ground, you know what I mean? All while this is happening, you're losing ground. Like,
yeah, right, yeah, like it's 1945 and I am Germany. It's everything is collapsing on me. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. It's not gonna work. So I had to pull the key out, go back up to the lady. I'm like, hey, can you open this door for me? It's not working. And she just looks at me like, just, what is wrong with you? Like, it's a door. But she starts walking over, and I realized she was on a stool the whole time, so she got shorter. so she comes around, and there's another customer, and she looks at the other customer. She's like, just hang on. Like, just super disappointed sounding that she has to deal with me, the idiot. And she goes, boom, first try, door opens, and she's standing there holding the door open, and I'm trying to get past her, and it's not a wide door, and it's like, yep, thank you, and just close the door, and, like, there's a big sign that says, clean up after yourself. So someone else is clearly gone in there and just ruined the place at some point or another.
And meanwhile, you're all wearing masks, so, like, the eye contact is unreal.
Yeah, yeah. She can't see, like, my lip quivering because I need to get in there so badly, at least. But yeah, so I mean, they, like, probably like 10 minutes go by. Time goes quick when you're sitting down. And there's also a sign in there that says, if you're not satisfied with the cleanliness of the store, talk to the manager and we'll get it resolved. We're committed to, like, clean facilities, blah blah blah, which is the complete opposite of the other sign that just says in all caps, clean up after yourself. But Yeah, and I get out of there, and like to go to the door to leave, I have to make eye contact with her for like a solid 5 seconds because it's a hallway. And I come out, and she just looks at me, and I look at her, and I could just feel like sadness transferring to her. Like
Well,
she,
I guess she
she
could like just immediately have the aroma once she
well,
left.
no,
Or...
because it'd been like 10 minutes in there. Like she knew something
Oh,
went
you're
down.
in there for that long.
And yeah, and she knew what was happening, I guess. And and then the disappointment as I turned towards the door, not even buying anything. like like you'd think you'd at
Thanks.
least get
See ya.
something out of it, but it's like no. And as I left, and just like thanks, but like with the mask on, I probably just laughed, and all she was just meh. But but I left there, and I'll probably never go back just in case.
Just in case.
When I get
So
back to the
what'd your
truck, and my
dad say
dad's
after it all?
my dad's just sitting in the truck. He's already pumped the gas. He's been on his phone for like 5 minutes now. And I just
Not
got
even
back in there.
concerned. Like,
And I got back in there. I'm like, we gotta go home. Like, and then yeah, we kind of realized part way home. Like he was like, oh, we gotta go home. And we realized after that if we ever get Costco chicken, we are not eating it until we get home. Like that is a at home meal.
yeah, for sure. Was it worth it?
It was pretty freaking good. I had
Yeah.
some, like I didn't have it for we also had it for dinner because we only ate like half the bucket for lunch. But I didn't eat until like 11:30 at night because it was still like, you eat too much of something, it's like, yeah, I don't really want that for a while. And that it hit me pretty hard with that. And then I had 5 more at night with the dipping sauce. I'm like, man, I could eat some more of these.
Yeah, like Costco's awesome. Like in regards to like they got it all made there. You know, Costco's a trap. Like if you have lots of money and you have lots of money coming in and you got lots of money to spend, you're fine. But like if you think you're going in there trying to save a little bit of money, it's a trap because you know
Yeah, because you
you get
walk
all
out of
these
there with five
things.
kilograms of like sliced cheese. It
Yeah,
just
well, it's like like everything is like $20. Everything is 19.99, right? So you're going past like the cheese, like wow, it's a lot of cheese for 19.99. Wow, that's a lot of ground beef for 19.99. You know, like and you're going around, and next thing you know, you have 8 things of 19.99 in the cart, and you're like, oh Jesus, like I'm not even halfway done my shopping list.
yeah, and that's on
But
top
then
of
they
your
get you
subscription just to get it in the door.
right. Well, it's what like $50 a year, like
Yeah,
you know.
I don't pay for it. I don't know, but
Right? No, of
it,
course.
yeah, not my problem. But yeah, and then you get home with your 2 kilogram thing of Kraft Parmesan cheese, and you realize it doesn't fit on the shelf because it's so
Right.
big.
Like I don't need a case of cabbage. I would like a cabbage. Not that I buy cabbage, but it's just an example, you know.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's good. Like you get a thing of Head and Shoulders, and you're set for quite a while as long as it doesn't break the shelf with its weight.
Oh yeah, I got to think of Q-tips like 4 years ago. Like still have
I
them.
would hope different, like not one you used 4 years ago, but yeah, I get it.
What? No, not like the same Q-tip, but like
Like
you
yeah,
know
the
what I'm
Q-tip
saying.
is so this one Q-tip is so big. I've been using it for
Right,
four
what you
years.
you don't rinse your Q-tips? Like what?
I'm
I thought
gonna
we were trying to save the planet
I'm
here.
gonna
Like what?
throw up. No, the
What's
planet
going
can
on
die
here?
if I have to rinse a Q-tip. That's not
Speaking
happening.
of the planet, do you remember like maybe it was like 10 years ago now when like Al Gore made the Inconvenient Truth? And everybody was like, "Oh my God, the planet!
Yeah,
We
and
gotta
it
change."
lasted for like what 2 months, and all the countries were like, yeah, we're
Right.
we're gonna do better, and then nothing actually happened.
Right. Well, apparently, at the end of like just before New Year's of like this year, remember how like there was that big hole in the ozone layer? It's all fixed. It's good to go. So go us.
Yeah, thank you, COVID, for that.
Right. Yeah, it's apparently it's all healed, all good to go. So good job,
So we
everyone.
can do it again. Nice.
Yeah, we made. Well, he needs a sequel for his movie, right? So like,
He probably
you know,
made
you
it.
can't.
Yeah,
He
probably just
probably made.
probably just went up there. You sharpen the blades of the plane, and you just cut the hole. That's how that works,
Right.
right?
Yeah, for was it 03 for
Yeah,
ozone? I don't
yeah.
know. School was so long ago, but it really wasn't.
Speak for yourself. It was. It was. It was
Right.
a while ago.
Yeah, I forgot you're old, and You well, you don't care about the environment because you're old. No,
I'm a
just
boomer.
kidding. Right.
Just as a disclaimer, I do care about the environment before I get hounded for
Right.
that potentially like
We're
10 years in the future
yeah,
on
when he's running for
Twitter.
prime minister.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're all for
mean,
the environment. So that's great that the ozone has been fixed. I didn't even, until somebody told me, I didn't know there was something wrong with it,
yeah,
you
we
know?
just needed the planet to try and relentlessly kill us for 3 years and
Yeah.
we fixed it.
Yeah, we what is it the line from Halo? We trade one villain for another after they kill Truth.
Yeah.
And the grave mine shows up like I don't know. Speaking of games, did you hear about the announcement today? EA announced 3 new Star Wars games, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
they don't have a very good track record, but
they're only publishing it. They're not like Respawn is developing it, and Respawn like they did Titanfall, Apex Legends, so they're pretty decent. They've got well, depending on the game. Like there's 3 games. The first one is uh in the Jedi series, so like Jedi Fallen Order. That's Respawn. They did that one.
yeah,
Uh, the first person shooter, I believe, is Respawn as well. And then the third one, which is a air quotes strategy game, is being made by people that made XCOM and XCOM 2, which I never played. I don't know if you have.
no,
I
that's more of like the top-down kind of just four-player squad, like Gears Tactics that came out.
Yeah,
You know,
I got really excited when I heard strategy because I immediately thought like Galactic Battlegrounds, Empire at War, that kind of thing, like full on RTS base building stuff like that, which I still really hope it is. But yeah, it's being made by the people that made XCOM, and I looked into it because I had never played XCOM and I'd never even watched videos or seen gameplay. And a lot of people say, yeah, it's really good, but man, does that gameplay look horrible for me at least. It does not look
yeah,
like my kind of thing.
you got to be into it, right? Like I'm not into it, but
It
if you're into that kind of style of game, then it
it's a
could be for you.
weird mix.
But that's strategy, right? Like, what is strategy to you? Like to me, strategy goes down to real time strategy or grand strategy, right? Like I don't consider XCOM to be a strategy game or
Yeah,
Gears
because
Tactics.
it's such a strange like it's turn based, and it kind of reminded me of KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, a little bit, just in that you like kind of choose what you're gonna do and then you do it, so it like pauses and then goes back and forth, that type of thing, a little bit. And I didn't mind
Yeah,
that for KOTOR, but this looks a bit different. So I'm hoping they don't just like directly reskin that as Star Wars. But the interesting thing for me was that they said the first person shooter that they're doing, uh, they had, I think it's a general manager, like the person that's going to be the general manager responsible for it. He talked about it, and he has
Peter
worked.
Hirschman.
Yeah, so he's worked on the original Battlefront 2, which is a beautiful game. He's worked on some of the other Star Wars stuff, like the one with Starkiller.
Commando,
What
right?
was that called?
The Force Unleashed.
The Force Unleashed. He worked on those series, and
Didn't he do Republic Commando as well? I think
he might have, yeah, because he had done a lot of like the
he
golden
was at the
age.
original like Pandemic or LucasArts kind of.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, and he mentioned um was it like Dark Empire? Two of the older like not mid '90s Star Wars first person shooters where you could barely tell what anything was. You just shot the white pixels because you assumed it was a stormtrooper.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
And I never played those, but I played Jedi Outcast, which came out shortly after those. Same idea, and those were like really big single player. Well, obviously back then, like it was a single player storytelling like event. It was just an interactive movie essentially, and they were decent for their time. But the fact that he talked about how much he liked those and how he could bring like what he liked about those into the next game made me feel like it, rather than just being like another Battlefront, like new Battlefront 2 where it's all just multiplayer. Kind of made me feel like it's going to be more of, well, I guess also Battlefront 2. The story missions they had with Verso and Inferno Squad and stuff. Probably more something along the lines of that. And I saw a
Right.
lot of people saying, I really hope it's something along the lines of Republic Commando. And
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I
Imagine if it was Imperial Commando, like the sequel.
well, the problem is there is a sequel already. Well, I guess it's not a
Yeah,
problem because most people don't even know
the
it exists.
book.
Yeah, like Jack Frags made a video on this today, and a lot of the comments were people mentioning Republic Commando, and they're like, "Man, that game always deserved a sequel. Like, we need to know what happened to Sev." For people that don't know, Sev's one of the main characters. He gets taken at the end of the game. It's a cliffhanger, and it leads into a book, and like the book is advertised on the manual of the game. I remember that. I never got the book, but it carried on into that. And a lot of people didn't realize that there even was anything because I got a lot of responses to my comment on Jack's video, and people were like, yeah, where do you find this book?" And it it's probably not canon now. Now that I think about it,
No,
since Disney
no, none
took
of it
everything,
is.
so they could just make a game out of the book, or just make something like new if they really wanted to. I guess since they're not going to be overwriting anything.
Well, even just like
But
storyline aside, like I think just the mechanics were always really cool, and they could always improve on that squad based. Right, like there was that game, and then there was the Brothers in Arms World War II games that were like the squad based, like first person shooter, but you had like a squad of AI that you could order around into like cover or do different objectives and stuff like that.
yeah,
It was like cover to cover kind of gameplay, not like Gears of War cover, but like you know what I mean.
yeah, almost like how Company Heroes does it, except first person. But
Yeah, I suppose.
like just using the environment instead of standing out in the open,
Yeah, yeah.
like Call of
Like you
Duty.
just say, hey, stand there, but like they don't just stand out in the open; they'll stand behind a wall. You
Yeah,
know, like stuff like that.
yeah. The other interesting thing, just from that I remembered, is the head guy for the first person shooter. The latest thing that he worked on was the Medal of Honor VR game. And I immediately thought to myself, if this game ends up being VR, it'll be amazing. Like even if the gameplay isn't great, if it's a good looking Star Wars VR game, I'm buying it in a heartbeat. 100%. Like it could
But
absolutely have a horrible story and I would get it.
right, but there are like good looking Star Wars VR games.
Like
Did you ever play like the Vader series, like the three of them?
yeah, but they're not first person shooters, are they? Like don't you play as Vader in those?
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I don't like when I come to. I don't think you can shoot, but there is one where it's like Tales of like Galaxy's Edge or something like that. That's a VR thing where you actually shoot in that.
Yeah.
But like in the Vader episodes, there's three of them. They're fairly short. They should have just been one game, but I had all three and I played through all three, and it was a really good time.
Yeah, like I always thought of them similar to the Telltale series that they had for like Walking Dead and stuff, where it's just episodic. It's not.
Nah, not even comparable. Because like you actually have the lifesaver, you can actually like use the Force.
No, okay. I thought it
Like
was
it's
more like
actually
just
really cool.
a guided story, like just on rails type thing.
Well, it is like that's what most VR experiences are. Like even Medal of Honor is like that,
Yeah,
right?
but
Did you
I
play that yet?
no,
The,
it's just so much hard drive space and just the time to download it that I haven't committed
right,
to it yet. But
right, and you have to like do it on your PC. Yeah. Because like mine's on my headset, but yeah, you don't have the.
yeah, I mean, eventually I will get it for sure. But I'm I kind of expected to have better internet by now, so that's
Right.
kind of held me back. But yeah, I am cautiously optimistic about these games, which historically is a bad thing to be. Like the Jedi game, it'll probably be decent. I didn't mind Fallen Order. It was it was all right. It was very 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 button mashy, especially that final boss. That was I felt like I was playing Dark Souls. That was kind of frustrating.
Well, that's what it was, right? It was Star Wars Dark Souls,
Yeah,
right? Like they basically just ripped that off like frame for frame, which I didn't mind. Like it's been a while since we had anything really like that for Star Wars, and I'm pumped that we're getting any games at all, right? Like I know the new Lego game is finally announced for like beginning of April. That's been delayed for like 2 years or whatever. Like I'm probably gonna get that
yeah,
just because like I haven't really played like a new Star Wars game since Squadrons, and I don't even count Squadrons. Squadrons just felt like a demo. You know what I mean? Like there was really nothing
yeah.
there.
The multiplayer was such a letdown, such a dumb way to do it. But like it
Yeah,
just
like the single player VR is really good. I played through that again.
yeah, it looks great. And in VR, you get to live out that fantasy, but like they have such a good example of what they have to do in the original Battlefront 2 for space battles. That would have worked so nicely. And it's not like the game is only VR where you have a limited number of people like player pool. You could have had enough people to have like 16 people per team. I'd say no
Oh, for
problem.
sure.
But having 5v5 and they wanted to make it like a competitive scene is just, it's so dumb. I'm
I
tired
can
of.
see them having that mode,
Well, they could have
but like
both, yeah,
have
but
the
like having
grand conquest. You know?
having only that was not like it killed it,
Yeah,
really. I
it
think.
did. It killed it for us anyway.
Yeah, like the whole idea of games being geared towards, yeah, we're going to have a competitive scene. We're going to make the modes specifically what would be played in competitive. Just sucks. And I don't like competitive formats most of the time. Like that format, the 5v5, not a fan of. I don't like the CS:GO Valorant formula. I don't
No,
like Rainbow Six Siege is pretty much the exact same thing again. Like that
it just
one
makes it
life
sweaty.
super slow frustrating type of game mode. Just I don't want it. Like
It makes everything so sweaty and so competitive, even if you're just in like the not like there is a competitive and then a non-competitive mode, but it's the
yeah,
same mode. If they just count your stats or don't count your stats,
yeah, and there's so
right?
much downtime. Like it's not like Squad where at least you're local chatting, you're goofing around, or you're planning things. You got different places you can go and stuff. It's no, you play the round, and if you happen to die at the start, well, you could be waiting there for like 5-10 minutes, just doing nothing. And it's like, well, that's not
But like,
fun.
why is that okay? You know?
Like I can't stand that type of game mode at all. And Squadron doing that was such a dumb thing. Because like there are people that want that, but I feel like it's a minority, or at least maybe I'm the minority. I don't know, but it seemed like no one liked it for Squadron.
Yeah, I can see why they did it. I see why everything that they did and why they did it. Doesn't mean I like it or agree with it.
Yeah,
Like, especially with like a ship game like that, where like it's so niche, where like they tried to break into like a competitive thing. Like now, if they did like with the EA's Battlefront 2, they had like the heroes versus villains kind of competitive kind of thing. I could see that.
yeah.
But I don't know. Ships is just so niche. But so yeah, so there's apparently there's 5 Star Wars games in development overall, not including the Lego one coming out or the Knights of the Old Republic remake.
Well, one of them we've already seen. It was Eclipse,
Yeah,
which we still know absolutely nothing about. I wasn't sure if
and
the three that they mentioned, if Eclipse was one of them or not.
no, I don't think so because Eclipse isn't done by Respawn. I don't think. I'm not sure
True.
who it's by, but I
That
don't
was
think
such a
so.
rant.
There's Eclipse. Yeah, it was random as heck.
Yeah,
Don't know anything about. Like I can't. Like we were talking about this the other day. Where like I can't take anything away from a cinematic trailer. Nothing. Like I need to see the game.
yeah.
I want to know what I'm paying for because that's what you're going to be doing. But yeah, there's Eclipse. There's these 3 that were announced. There's the new first-person shooter. There's Jedi 2. I think they're just calling that series Jedi.
Yeah, which is
And,
kind of a janky title, but I guess it
yeah, there's
works.
that RTS game that we don't like
You know,
strategy or like not
strategy.
RTS
We're hoping it's
strategy.
RTS.
Right. If it's not RTS, like it's probably gonna be like I don't know. I just probably won't even touch it.
Yeah.
And then the fifth one is Ubisoft's open world action adventure game that we haven't seen anything about either.
I don't have super high hopes on that one either.
Assassin's Creed, Star Wars.
I mean, if well, I wouldn't want to be an assassin, but like if they have that type of world building where like there's actually stuff going on and like the story is decent, then sure. But if it ends up like Anthem or some other just failed game where it's just dead off the start, it's gonna be so disappointing. Like every time I hear open world, I just think of games being over ambitious and coming out way too early.
Oh, for sure. But I got a pitch for you. So it'd be an open world Assassin's Creed Star Wars game. You watch like most of the Clone Wars, right? You know who Quinlan Voss is?
Well, I know him from outside of the Clone Wars too. He was mentioned way back in Galactic Battlegrounds. I'm pretty sure.
Right. He's like the Jedi that's like kind of like over the top and like outdoorsy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, like so, like allegedly in like the unfinished season of Clone Wars, and there's a book about it too. I can't remember what book it is. Anyway, so him and Asajj Ventress team up, and they're gonna go assassinate Dooku. And anyway, that's and then anyway, Asajj dies like on this mission,
Okay.
and
Spoiler
Quinlan
alert.
Voss is alive. Well, it's not made right, so like it wasn't
Oh,
finished.
this is like the
It's not
alleged
like
storyline.
officially. Yeah. That's the alleged storyline. And anyway, so that's how she dies. But anyway, him like this was right around like Revenge of the Sith, and so like he wasn't there for like the Purge. So like, what if you played as like Quinlan Voss in like an Assassin's Creed like Star Wars game on like Now Hutta? Like, wouldn't that be sick?
The only thing I really wouldn't like is if they went similar to like Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, the Lord of the Rings series, where
Yeah.
everything wants to kill you. That I wouldn't like. Like if it was just
I know what you mean by that. I was just playing that yesterday, so.
like if every NPC I encounter wants to kill me, it's not great because then I'm spending half my time like worrying and watching over my shoulder, which I guess is like that could be a drawing thing for some people, but I want to be able to go into a town and just walk in the town like Assassin's Creed. You can go pretty much anywhere, and you'll find people that will aggro on you, but for the most part, you can actually just explore and go wherever, and you kind of choose when you're fighting rather than like Shadow of War. It's just oh, there's another thing that wants to kill me. There's another thing that wants to kill me. Oh, I want to check this out. Oh, it's surrounded by people that want to kill me.
No,
It
I agree
gets
with you
kind of annoying.
100%. I actually I lost my save for Shadow War, so I'm starting from the beginning. I never beat it, but like I was probably halfway,
Right.
I think. And like I also I'm kind of glad that I lost because I didn't want to start halfway because if something kills you, like then it just levels up like crazy, right? With
Yeah.
like the whole nemesis system.
Which was pretty cool. Like that system, like I think was pretty neat, and like how if you killed one, they might come back still. Like I had one orc that I killed probably 3 or 4 times, and he'd just come back
Yeah.
like more scarred up and everything else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that. What a great game. The Shadow. I never played the first one. I just played Shadow of War
If
because
I
it seems so much better.
if I remember right, I played through all of the first one, I think, and I didn't get very far through the second one at all. If I remember right,
Yeah,
because
I think something else came out. I think, and it just shifted my attention away.
yeah, and I mean, I know I ended up getting kind of tired of the whole everything wanting to kill me type deal, but you could also
Yeah,
get
like nowhere safe.
you could like mind control. Was that the first one or the second one or both? I can't remember, but you could like turn some of them basically,
Yeah, you
which was
make like
alright.
your own army to like siege their fortresses and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, like the all the ideas in that game were cool, but it just felt like the map was kind of empty and like just constant fighting anytime you wanted to go anywhere.
Button mash as well.
Yeah, the story wasn't bad, but I mean, it's Lord of the Rings. The story's already all there. They just had to make the game for it.
Yeah. Well, now they're making even more that new Amazon series for Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah, true.
What is it? Some name that's like just really obvious, like the Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, or something like that.
Yeah, I can't even remember what it's called anymore because I saw it and was immediately like, oh, okay. And just kind of dismissed it because I assumed it would be like forever before I saw any of it.
Yeah. Well, what else do you got? That's it for me.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up with a quick question I have for you. The Olympics happen, don't happen, or happen but be a disaster? Because they're coming up real soon. They're in China, which I mean, I don't know how that wasn't changed at some point, but they're still for the most part going through with it. I know like the NHL and stuff has said no, we're not sending the players, but the players want to go, and like Team Canada's still sending a team. I'm seeing the Olympic ads are starting on TV. I personally can't see it going well. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think a lot of it is depending on what's happening with this whole Russian Ukraine situation. But like other than that, I think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to be just like the Summer Olympics that just happened, right? So I don't think anything drastic is going to be different about that. Like if everybody can go into a swimming pool arena, or if everybody can get into like a dragon boat and paddle along, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like the whole Omicron thing, like I think it's peaked, and I hope it's peaked anyway. But I don't think any major changes are gonna like. I think it's gonna be just like the Summer Olympics in Japan.
yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I was half expecting some countries to start dropping out just because of the oh, it's China, this is where it came from, it's going to be real bad type factor. And I think that's kind of what the NHL did. So I was kind of expecting it to be kind of a lot of gaps, like, oh, there were supposed to be 10 people competing here, but there's only five type thing. But I expect it to happen. I think it's going to be kind of weird. Because I saw an article today that they were trying to make snow because Winter Olympics, like 90% of the stuff that they're doing needs snow. And they were trying to
Right.
just pump out snow. And apparently they did it so much that they caused like a water shortage in the area around the like where they're holding the Olympics because they were just burning through so much water trying to make the snow that they need. So I wouldn't be
Dang.
surprised if there's some stuff from like an organization standpoint where things are just not too great. But I definitely don't think it'll cancel it. And the one thing I could see happening too is like I personally think anyone that's there, like the Olympics last what 2 weeks ish usually,
Yeah, give or
two
take.
or
Yeah.
three. I think what's going to happen is as soon as one person tests positive, they're going to be out, and then they're going to start just Uber testing everyone else. But in my opinion, one, they all have to be vaccinated to go there. So even if they get sick, they should be all right. Two, these people are like peak physical condition, so they'll probably be all right anyways. And three, I like if it takes up to 2 weeks to get your symptoms and someone tests positive but is asymptomatic, I kind of think they should be able to compete in like more so if it's like snowboarding or something where it's one person going at a time, you're outdoors, that kind of thing. Like if they're able to, I think they should still be able to do it. But I feel like as soon as they get something, they're just out and the Olympics over for them basically. And I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening where one person gets it and they just shut down a whole event because they're like, oh well, now we got to test all the other people and stuff. So I could see it falling apart, just going off the rails.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they just had the Summer Olympics, but I guess that was like before Omicron really kind of bumped up. But
Yeah,
like I just it comes back to like how each country is handling their COVID situation. Like Canada, like we're pretty wishy-washy with the rules, in my opinion. Like, is it a big deal or is it not a big deal, right?
Oh,
And then
it's
kind of go
flip
from there.
flopping all over the place.
Well, that's what I mean. The rules change every 39 minutes. So, like, I would be surprised if countries did drop out of the Olympics. I think they're gonna send everybody. They're gonna try to make them as normal as possible, and then whatever the outcome is, they'll just deal with it. Like, does like whether it's a big kind of chain reaction event. Well, I doubt. I almost doubt it would be, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be the same. When does that kick off anyway? Is that like
A
soon, right?
few weeks. I think it's like mid February
Yeah.
ish, something like that. So yeah, it should be fairly soon.
Hmm.
Hopefully, we'll be decent. I mean, normally we win hockey all the time, but normally we have NHL players, so it could be a little dodgy this year. But yeah, Canada usually
Right.
cleans up pretty good in the winter. So
Yeah, for the winter ones, yeah. The winter ones are always more entertaining to watch, in my opinion, anyway.
well, that's because we actually win things.
Well, just I just think the sports are more entertaining. Like that's just my personal preference. Like I think like skeleton, like that's a riot to watch. Like I had never, you know,
Yeah, no, that's just a death wish, really.
as
Even
opposed to like the
bobsled,
luge. I'm
like no.
like I think I'd rather luge than skeleton. You know, like what?
Yeah, you mean
I
you
don't know.
you enjoy high paced things like that over people running for like 25 kilometers for hours and hours on end?
Right. Well, that's where I'm going with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot just overall faster paced. There's not much that's slow. Well, you have cross country skiing, I guess, but for the
Even
most
that's a
part,
riot. Like maybe
well,
because I used to do it myself. I don't know.
when you have like the triathlons and however many athlons where they're doing like the shooting and stuff as well to mix it up a bit, makes it more
You're
entertaining
right.
too. And I
No,
don't
for sure.
don't have to watch the diving competitions where there's like tiny 15-year-olds winning everything,
Right.
or just the races where it's Michael Phelps every time. Although he's done now, so there's actually a chance.
Yikes. Well, anyway, well, the best part about everybody listening to this podcast is that it's hopefully going to be a weekly occurrence. We haven't missed anything so far, and we'll keep up to date and see what's going on with the Olympics and see if they're actually going to happen or not.
They might even do a bonus episode or two.
A bonus episode specifically talking about the Olympics, maybe. I don't know.
Could be
We'll see.
haha JK unless. But we have been going for a month now, even though it's episode 3. Don't forget, it's actually episode 4 because we started at 0, which is a mistake we're never going to be able to get rid of. So we've been going for a
No, it'll
month
be all
pretty
right.
much.
Let's say even if we go for a year, it's episode 52. No, it's
No,
53,
yeah.
you know. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the podcast, thank you so much for hanging around. Please feel free to leave a comment on any future topics you'd like for us to discuss.
Or if you disagree
And
with us and want to yell at us
yeah,
or fact
yeah,
check us for
I'll
anything
take
we
you
say,
on.
yeah,
I'll definitely take you on in the comments. Let's go. Let's get the boxing gloves on.
we'll go
But
into the
anyway, thank
Thunderdome.
you for tuning in. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video to everybody, to all your friends, your family. That second
Co-workers,
phone that you have in your sock drawer that you replaced years ago but still hang on to it for no reason. I'm Lick My Sock 117, and that was TMT Coco.
hey,
You
yeah,
can
that's
follow
me.
him at twitch.tv/TMT Coco to
All
see
one
when he
word,
goes live.
super easy.
All
Just
one
look for
word.
the bananas because the stream's bananas.
No, that's right. Feel free to join his Discord where you'll get notifications on the podcast and what's going on with us. You can find me at twitch.tv/lickmysock117gaming, also all one word. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Later, nerds.
See ya.